Hi, my name is Nadia, so you probably have seen these. I probably only seen my hands, right? So this is my face, that's how I look like, and that's the table that the magic happens on. So that's pretty much the setting that I usually use to do the tarot reading. So it's very nice to meet you. My name is Nadia and a tarot reader, intuitive tarot reader. So recently I was talking to my friend and we were talking about tarot cards. He said he just getting into it, and I told him, you know what? I can teach you how to read tarot easily, intuitively, without knowing anything about meaning of the cards, about meaning of anything. So you don't need to learn anything. And he's like, oh wow, that's pretty awesome. So how about you do the video on it, and I'll watch the video so it can help other people as well. So like, yeah, that's a good idea. So here I am, I'm gonna do a few videos. So this video will be on intuitive reading, so to read cards intuitively without knowing anything about tarot cards, the meanings or the meanings of the cards. I will also make a video how to prepare for tarot reading, so it's very important to prepare yourself mentally. And also I'll make a few other videos about tarot cards, what I wanted to share with you guys, so it will be kind of a series of video, little by little I'm gonna be releasing them. So this video is a part 2 of the first one that I'm gonna explain how to prepare for the tarot reading, and then this one is how to actually read the cards intuitively. So number one, what you should do is to watch the video that I'm going to link below, how to prepare for tarot reading. So that's number one step. Number two, if you already watched that video, then we can get to the actual reading. So I'm gonna use today Light Seers Tarot deck, and that's the most amazing tarot deck for beginners because the imagery, the cards are so pretty and they're so beautiful. If you guys can see from there, right? The cards are so nice, like the pictures, the colors, everything, the emotions. You can see the emotions on the cards. So those are very easy to read, and that's why I'm using this deck, because I love it so much, and at the same time that's an amazing deck to start your tarot reading with. There is also this little book that comes with cards, and this is amazing as well. So it's very clear, it's very concise. They give you a few spread options so you can use it right away. They explain to you how you can start reading without knowing anything about cards. So this is amazing. So that's why I recommend this deck, because it's very, very good for a beginner reader. So before you actually do the reading, that's what I usually do when I get a deck. The first step, in order to prepare myself for reading, I look at the deck and I connect with each card. So there's 78 cards, so give yourself some time to connect with that. So I usually I look at the card, I see what I feel about it, I try to look what kind of emotions I see, I try to look what kind of story I see on the card. So if you guys can see right here, this is a beautiful card with a beautiful lady going away somewhere. So with each card, I take a look, I look at it, I try to figure out what kind of emotions I feel, how it correlates with other cards, how it correlates with the Rider-Waite tarot deck. But again, you don't need to worry about it, you don't need to worry about the meanings. Today we're gonna do the intuitive reading. So even if you're not connected with tarot deck, like the fully connected with it, that's okay. You can take some time during your first reading to connect with it and see what kind of emotions you feel. So that's totally fine as well. You don't have to do it before. That's my process. So that's what I usually do when I receive the deck, because I get so excited. I'm like, whoa. And then I look at pictures and I'm like, this is amazing. That's how they express this card, and that's what they, the person that illustrated this card, that's what they feel about this card, and meaning that's what they feel here. And like, that is so cool. So I get really excited about my tarot card because the deck is like a life story. The deck is like not only one life story, but thousands and thousands of life stories you can create with. And it's just so beautiful. And it's a vision of the person, vision of feeling, vision of emotions, vision of, thoughts. So for me, that's why I love tarot, because you can see so much in there and you can feel so much in there. And it is so fun because they're so pretty. Like you can see, I get really excited about tarot. And I get really excited about decks. So yeah, so that's how I usually connect. I connect with the deck first and then I start the reading. And I mostly work on straight positions, so that's what I advise you to do, to work on straight positions so you don't get confused, because reverse can take some practicing to do. And when you're already comfortable with the deck, then you can, move to reverse position. But until you're comfortable and know your deck really well, I wouldn't recommend doing it. So let's talk a little bit about shuffling, shall we? So, I mean, it doesn't matter how you shuffle it. It doesn't matter if it's this way, that way, stick it in there, whatever works for you. Some people, you do it like this way, so you kind of move it, right? So move it towards yourself, or like maybe this way, and then you kind of move this way. So whatever you do, if you watch other tarot readers and you see something that you really like, do it. Why not? Because it's really fun. So you can create your own way of shuffling. You can create your own way of picking out the cards. You can do it from the top, you can do it from the bottom, you can shuffle each time you pick out a card, you can do it in the middle. So it doesn't really matter. It's not important. Whatever creates fun for you, whatever works for you, whatever you feel comfortable with, you can do. So for me, before I start reading the deck, shuffling is very important because this kind of connects you to the deck energy. So when you shuffle, you start connecting with the cards, you start reflecting on your question, you start reflecting on the things that you want to find out, you start focusing, kind of meditating. So for me, shuffling is very meditative because I start thinking about a question, I connect to the energy. So if we do different tones, right? Different people. Usually, if I work with people, I connect to their energy. But if I work with stones, right, online, so I connect to the energy of the stone. So whatever works for you, you just do it. How long it takes you, it doesn't matter. You can take your time. You can do it faster. You can do it sooner. Even if you shuffle in 5 minutes in order to, calm yourself down and meditate a little bit, that's okay too. This is your process. You create your own process, whatever you're comfortable with, because you need to be comfortable and you need to have a little fun, because this is supposed to be exciting, interesting, having fun, looking into it, being creative. So this is what tarot for me is all about, and that's why I love it so much. For me, it's like meditating. So when I read tarot, all the thoughts from my head, from my day, from future, from the past, they disappear. I just start thinking all about cards and I'm just getting into the story, just diving right into it. And that's why I love tarot so much, because for me it's like meditation, and for me it's like such an exciting journey to find out what's going on and how the story unfolds. So it's really exciting. So whatever works for you to get that excited, to be that passionate, you do it, right? So not thinking about your own stuff, as I told you guys before, when I read, I don't think about my own stuff, right? It's very important. That's why you gotta watch the video how to prepare for tarot reading, because I'm gonna explain how, to disconnect from all of the stuff that you've gone through during the day or in the past or thinking about the future. Just connect on the cards. So I'm gonna explain to you. So it's very important to watch that before you start your reading. Because if you bring in your own stuff into the tarot reading, then you kind of the reading won't be complete, it won't be clear, it won't be accurate, because it's kind of your things that you're going through. It will be coming up in the tarot reading. Let's say like you were very upset during the day and you're coming to like, I'm gonna do tarot cards, and then you start shuffling and you're upset, and then you bring in this upset feeling towards reading. So you will see cards in a negative way, most of the cards in a negative way, right? Because you're already in a negative state before. So it's very important to disconnect from all that you've done during the day and to come with a very clear mind. And in the beginning, if you cannot do it, if you get stuck in your own head, that's okay too. I mean, it takes some practice. Eventually, if you follow the ritual and if you start, thinking about tarot, about the question, about what you want to find out, it will be easier and easier for you. So that's okay if you don't do it right away. You need to practice more. Everything comes with practice. So if you practice, you will be great at it. So let's get to the actual reading and the fun part. So the actual reading can be very simple if you let it be. And what do I mean by that? Because I know so many people that want to get into tarot, and as I told you about my friend, right, he's like, oh, I gotta learn all the meanings and all, meaning of the cards and meaning of this and meaning of that. So it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of practice. And if you just want to dive in right away, you can do that as well. You don't have to know all the meanings. And actually, what I believe, at the beginning, if you don't know it, it's actually better for you because you can read the cards intuitively. You can look at the card and look at the emotion and figure out for yourself what it means for you. Because pictures, they tell you everything. Pictures, they tell you stuff that, all of these things, like there's so much meaning behind it, right? So all these cards, they're so beautiful. You can, dive in and find out what's going on there. So you don't need to know the meaning of the cards in order to start reading the cards intuitively. The number one thing, the most important thing is to ask the right questions and let the story unfold. Those are the two things that you need to figure out how to do, right? So asking the right questions. So whenever you start the reading, you need to have a clear idea of what you want to find out. So if you have a person that you're working with, you need to clarify the question, make sure that you're asking the right questions, because if you're very unclear about your questions, the cards will be very unclear as well. So it will be very vague or not, not descriptive, as I might say, right? So you gotta be very specific with your question. It's better to ask open-ended questions. So it's not like yes or no, because with the cards like this, unless you're working with cards that clearly say yes or no, right? With the cards like this, I mean, I don't know, this dude, if you pick up this dude, right, and you ask yes or no question, like, what would you say? Is it yes or is it no? We don't know, right? Because he's just dude sitting there. So there is no way to say whether it's yes or no, because it will depend on the situation. So that is why asking open-ended question, like what this person is thinking about the situation, or what's in their head, right? Or what's in their mind, or what do they feel about something, it's way better because you will get a better answer from the cards. And you can open yourself to a beautiful story that you can look in the cards and find out what's going on there. So don't ask yes or no questions, just go with open-ended questions. So basically, what I want you to do, you gotta pretend that you are a detective with the cards. So you're a tarot detective. So, detectives, when they look at, the facts, and when they start asking questions, right, they try to dig deep, and they try to get to the core of the problem, to the core, like who committed a crime, how it happened, right? So they go into every single detail and ask, very specific, very particular questions. Who, when, why, what's going on there, what did they feel, why did they act this way, what happened there, what happened in this situation, like what were they thinking, right? So all of these questions are very important. So when I do the tarot cards, I pretend that I'm a detective and then I start asking all of these questions, like, okay, I want to see what's going on in this story. So let's start with one question. Let's say we're looking at the relationship, right? So I shuffle the card and okay, let's do what he's thinking about me, right? So let's do this. I know a lot of people try to figure out what the other person is thinking about them. So What is he thinking about me? So what we start with the situation, right? So it's better to start with the situation, what is going on between you two, or maybe you can get right into the question. So it's up to you. So let's start with the situation. So I pick a card. Okay, so what is the situation? And look at the card. So this is a chariot, and there's a guy, and there are two horses, and he's like, you know, he's going somewhere. And if you look at the card, it looks very positive. It looks like, you know, the guy is very determined to do something. So it looks like he's going somewhere, and maybe he's going to you, right? So that's why you ask another question, like, is he going to me, or what, is he moving somewhere, or he moved, like what's going on there, right? So let's become more specific, right? So then we look at this card. And this card, as you guys can see, there are some roots, and there is a guy as well, so he's thinking about his money. So pentacles usually is money. So this guy is trying to grow something, probably, you know, create some wealth. I cannot talk today. So this guy is thinking about money, so probably if you put those two together, right, first he's going somewhere, this one is money, so probably he's going somewhere about money, right? So it can be very close, you know, maybe he's going to the bank to get some money, or it can be, you know, far, maybe a business trip, right? So something like this. So right now, in this moment, he's thinking about either going somewhere, you know, on a business trip, or something similar like this. So when you put two and two together, you connect them, right? So you ask one question first, and then you become more specific, like, where is he going, right? What is he doing? What is he thinking right now? Let's take a look. Oh, he's thinking about his life, right? And as you can see, this lady, and this is a world card, and she's really excited, and she's looking around, and she's thinking about her world, right? So that's how you get more and more specific, and that's where you get into the story. You start asking questions 1 and 2 and 3 and 5. And once you ask the questions, you create a story that is going, you know, one after another and connecting all together. And if you're struggling to ask the questions and struggling to figure out how to do it, you can find a bunch of different decks online. So you can find a bunch of spreads online, where you know, does he love me, does he not, right? So all kinds of, you know, spreads that will tell you, like, that's what this card for, that's what this card for, that's what this card for. So you can use that as well. And this book actually has a few very simple spreads that you should start with, like very simple things, you know, 1 card, 2 cards, you know, 3, 4 cards, so something like this, right? And they tell you, okay, this means this and this means that. So if you have trouble in asking questions, that's okay. You just can go online and find the spread. So at this point, you're probably very confused because you're like, Nadia, you know, you're already reading the cards, but you didn't tell me how to do it, how to read the cards. So yeah, I think I got distracted going in the wrong direction. So let's get to the actual reading part, to actually look into the cards and figure out what it means, right? So the reading cards is very creative process, it's very intuitive process, and the less you think about your own, I mean, you can think about your own stuff, but I'm not sure how to explain it. Okay, I'm gonna explain it through the through the process, you know, the way I do it. So I'm gonna explain the way I do it, and then you guys can use, that's what I usually teach my friends and whoever is interested in tarot. So it worked wonders in most cases, so I'm hoping, guys, that this works for you as well. And it's very simple. So what you do is to, right, so you found your spread, right, or you asked your question. So let's say, what is he doing right now, right? So let's say, what is he doing right now? So we're asking the question, what was he up to right now? And then we pull the card, and as you can see, guys, I'm actually gonna pull it up on the computer. So this is a Hermit. So what you do, so you ask the question and you picked out the card, and what you do, you completely forget about everything around you, and you focus on the card, and just look at the card, and look at the pictures, and look at the drawing, and look at the people in the card. What are they doing? How are they feeling? What kind of face expressions they have? Are they excited? Are they happy? Are they upset? Are they sad? Because cards, they will tell you everything. You can see all the emotions, you can see the situations, you can see how it's going. So you just need to dive into the card and experience fully with your all senses. So what I mean by all senses, so when you look at the card, you start looking. What is the person doing on this card? What are they thinking probably about related to a question, right? So what were they doing the moment before the person portrayed this picture, right? What are the surroundings? Like, is it very dark and scary and brings you kind of negative vibes, or is it positive? What does this situation remind you in your own life? What you experience, the feelings, the emotions, what you've been through, right? So when I talk, and that's what I want to explain the difference. When I talk, don't bring your own stuff from before, right? From during the day. That's one thing. But when we relate our feelings and our experiences to the card, that's completely different. And that is very helpful because we kind of sympathize and we kind of understand what the person on the card is going through and how it relates to the question. So you kind of connect it all together and build this beautiful story. What you can also do, you can look at the card, right, and see what you see, and then you can close your eyes. And then maybe you will see some pictures, or that's what it's called channeling, because those pictures might come to you, right? So you will see a different picture, or maybe you will see like this card or this person moving on the picture and doing something, right? So when you close your eyes and let the story develop, you can bring up more information. You can see what's going on, maybe feelings, maybe emotions, maybe some words come to your mind, right, that relate to this situation, to this question. So it can be anything, and that's what we talk about intuitive reading, because you cannot teach it, but at the same time it's very simple. All you need to do is just let yourself feel and let yourself use your imagination what can happen, and just connect it to the question that you ask, and tell the story. And that is that is very simple. Sometimes it's really hard to let go, and sometimes you get those thoughts like, well, I don't know, maybe I'm making it up, I'm not sure if I'm talking the truth, right? Because all the thoughts at the beginning, they will come to you and they're totally normal. It's totally normal to freak out and like, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what I'm talking about, I don't know like how it relates, I'm not sure if I'm saying the right thing, especially if there are people next to you, right? So it's totally okay to freak out, to experience those emotions, but it shouldn't stop you from, just telling the story and expressing what you think is going on there. So let's do it together, right? So let's ask the question here, what is he doing? And then let's look together at the card, and what do you see in the card? Just imagine that this girl is him, right? And this is my kitty, and she needs some attention. So I'm gonna show you guys my kitty, because she is always distracting me from my readings. I'm gonna show you guys her so you can meet the crying lady that always cries because she needs some attention, yeah? Say hi, Turtle. Her name is Turtle, and she's a super cute kitty, and she's awesome, and she wants my attention most of the time when I do readings. So you just gotta say, let me say hi. Say hi, hi. And I'm gonna have a lot of hair on me right now because she's shedding a lot. Are you shedding a lot? Are you a cute kitty? Yeah, you are a cute kitty. Okay, you wanna go? Yeah, good. Okay, we got distracted. And she got irritated because I grabbed her without her consent. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I shouldn't be grabbing you. I know she didn't like it. She only wants, petting when she's okay with it. Anyway, so I got distracted by my kitty. So let's look at the card, right? So let's imagine that the person on the card is the person asking about. So what is he doing right now? And then look at the card, dive in, and what do you see? This girl is sitting somewhere in a remote location in the mountain, right? And she's sitting there alone, thinking about something, in the dark. It's very probably lonely, it's probably very quiet. You also see that there's stairs, right? So there's stairs and there's little mountains, so probably it talks about the way, because she's been going somewhere, right? She's been going, and eventually she got to the point where she had to stop and think about it, think about her life, probably think about her situation. And when you bring the next card, when you pick the next card, you can actually ask what this person is reflecting on, what are the things that they trying to think about, right? What are the things they try to figure out. So this card is like, if you look at it, it's simple, right? He is somewhere sitting by himself, probably at this moment, thinking about his life or about something that you can ask in the next card and figure out what it is. And he's probably, we're doing something, we're going somewhere, but that road probably led somewhere that he didn't want to go because of the stairs, right? And then eventually end up alone thinking about stuff and thinking maybe he should do something different. So this is simple. So if you want to find out what he's thinking about right now, you can pull the next card and figure out what's going on there, right? So let's do the next card. And the next card is 5 of Wands. And as you guys can see, I'm gonna pull it up on the screen so you can see it clearly, because it's very important to see the images. So that's why I'm looking at it very closely right now myself, so I can see all the beautiful imagery. So you see all these people fighting, trying to get somewhere, trying to push everyone down, right, and get there first. You see, like, whatever you see, and I see one thing and you can see something different, you can see something else, it doesn't matter. Whatever you see, it's the right information. So don't stop yourself, don't say like, Nadia sees this and I'm seeing this. That's totally okay. And the funny part about one person seeing this, another person is seeing this, is in different spreads, in different situations, I read the same card differently, depending on the meaning, depending on what comes to my head. So whatever comes to my head during the reading, that's what I say. And that's why most of the time after the reading, when I do it, I don't remember half of it, because I don't think about it, I don't consciously think about it. I'm like, whatever comes, I'm just gonna say it, and then we'll see what's gonna happen. And then people come to me and they're like, oh, well, you said this and this and this and you're right. And I'm like, I don't remember saying it. And because when you don't use your conscious mind, when you just go with the creative part of your mind and just saying whatever you feel or you see on the card or whatever comes to you first, right, you don't bring so much attention to it. That's why you might not remember it later. But it can be very important, it can be the right information. It is the right information. So don't doubt yourself and just go with the flow. Whatever you see on the card, that's totally... Oh, I'm dropping my cards. So whatever you see on the card, whatever comes to you, that's the right information. So you can see different things, and you can see different things depending on the spread, depending on the person, depending on energy. It can depend on so many things. So when we ask the question, what he is thinking about right now, he is thinking about, going through this journey where he had to fight people to get to the top, to get to some dream, right? Because for me, like this fire, it can be, for me, the fire meaning in this case can be some kind of dream or some kind of desirable outcome, something shiny, right, that you want to get, or something very important to you, something warm that you would like to get, because they're all going for it, right? That's why we have this emotion, because they're like, I want to get there. I don't care if I push other people down. I want to get there, and I want to get there first. So probably he's thinking about achieving something, getting there, but still not succeeding, and that's why I had to take some time off, right? And spend some time reflecting to figure out what's going on and how to change that. So you see what I'm saying about the story? All this stuff came from just two cards and just looking at them, and trying to figure out their emotions, their feelings, what they thought before, what they were doing before and after this, this picture, what they were thinking, what they were doing, what they're fighting for, right? So you can ask all of these questions, and that will help you to create the image in your head, what is actually going on. And that is how you connect two cards, because some people think that it's so hard to connect those. You put one card, you put another, you try to connect them, and it's so complicated. I don't know what it means together, right? For me, I try to not to do it. I try to do one card at a time, and most of my spreads you guys will see, because I read one card and then I ask another question and I pull another card and then I ask another question and I pull another card, and that's how I create this journey, this story that comes together. But usually if it's one card and then the card after it, so this kind of how it started, and that's how reflecting the situation, right? So that's what happened probably after. So it depends. You can read it in so many different ways, and once you start getting into it, once you start getting experience, you will find your way to do it. You will find the best way, you will find tools and tricks, but right now you don't need to think about it. Just ask the question, look at the card, and answer it. Okay, so maybe we can do a couple more cards together so you guys can, follow my logic and see. I look at the cards and what I do, because in my life, I learn from experience. So I look at other tarot readers and I look, okay, they open this card and they say this thing, and that's why I follow a bunch of tarot readers, because it's actually helping me to become better every time I watch how other people work and what strategies they use. So I would definitely recommend you guys to do that and see like what are the logic, what are they thinking, what are they talking about when they pull this certain card and this certain imagery, right? How they explain it to you. So watching other tarot readers is so interesting, and so it's so helpful. Okay, so let's do a couple more cards, and then and then that's it. Then you know how to read the cards. It's so simple. The two main things is to ask the right question, and then just to dive into the story, dive into the card, see what people are doing there, see what kind of emotions they feel what they feel, try to figure out how they experience the situation, what are they thinking about, what were they thinking about right before the situation, what were they thinking right after the situation, they will be thinking after the situation, right? So what is the story behind the situation? So all of these questions, when you dive into it and you kind of start living their life, right, experience life as them, as the people in the cards, it becomes so simple, it becomes so easy, because we are intuitive, people are intuitive, and we can see emotions, we can see the feelings. And these cards, especially this deck, it's so expressive, like you can experience emotions, you can read behind the cards, you can see the pictures. So that's why I'm recommending this deck, because this deck is amazing. It's super simple to read and it's so beautiful. And guys, so I'm not an affiliate, I'll give you the link to Amazon where you can buy those cards. So that is an affiliate link, and I'll get the teeny tiny commission if you click on that link and buy the cards. But you can buy them at the tarot store. I'm pretty sure most of the tarot stores carry those cards, so it doesn't really matter why I'm talking about those cards. And I'm in no way affiliate of those, of the Chris Ann that created, I guess, of the company that's selling it, or Hey Publishing, right? I'm not. It's just because I love this deck so much, and it's so simple and so easy and so beautiful. That's why I'm so excited, and that's why this is the best deck to start with. I started with Tarot Weight deck, Raider Weight. Goodness, I forgot how it's called. Yeah, I started with Raider Weight Tarot because it was recommended to me. But to be honest, I find it kind of simple, and I like different decks. I like different decks with different imagery, with different stories. So this deck is so modern, it's so cool, it's so expressive that I really like it. So I wouldn't recommend starting with Raider Waite for if you do it intuitively, even though it's a beautiful deck and imageries. But there's a lot of in Raider Waite. There's a lot of stuff behind the imagery. So there's a lot of stuff you need to know in order to completely understand it, right? So all the symbols on all the things. So if you watch a few videos on Raider Waite, people explain the symbols and meanings and all of this stuff. That is very helpful as well. But if you just want to start right away, just do this deck because it's way better. It's way easier. But you can start with any deck. So if you have some other different deck, you can start with it. It doesn't matter. Whatever you see, just dive into the picture and let the story. And it's actually really fun because you kind of live in so many stories, so many tales, and beautiful. Okay, I'm getting excited here again. So let's do a couple more cards so I can kind of, I can tell you what logic I use, what I see in the cards, and you can see something different as I guys tell you. That's totally okay too. Okay, so let's do Eight of Swords. As you guys can see, I'm gonna pull it up on the screen. So look at the card. Take some time to look at the card with me right now. Let's say before we pull this card, we had the question like, what's stopping me from achieving my goal, right? So let's do this question. What's stopping me from achieving my goal? So you pull up the card and you look at the cards and reflect on it and go dive and look in and start living the emotions and feelings of the person in the card and see what's going on there. So take some time and reflect on it. So what do you see? So what is stopping me from achieving my goal? So I see on this picture, there's this beautiful girl. She looks very talented. She looks very smart. She looks very capable. But at the same time, she's looking in the mirror, and the mirror is reflecting her inner part of herself, her subconscious mind, or her inner world, right? And in her inner world, she's she's tied up. She cannot move because those crowds, right? Those crowds, they're preventing her from, seeing things the way she needs to see them in order to succeed, from doing things because she cannot move her hands, right? So she all tied up, from moving probably because, also you see all these strings, they're tying her up, right? So she cannot move. And these crows, for me, they symbolize, because swords, if you guys know, and the basic stuff that you need to know, the basic stuff is the four suits, the meanings of the four suits. So if you know the meanings of four suits, so the swords mean thoughts. So when you see swords, it's always about thoughts of the person, any thoughts that they have. So when you look at this, you're like, okay, swords, and you see the crows that tie her up, and you conclude that, her thoughts are actually stopping her from achieving her dream, right? So this girl, she's all capable. Her hands are free. She is free to go and do and succeed and achieve, but she cannot do it because her thoughts are stopping her from achieving her dreams. It's all inside. She needs to work on her beliefs, or maybe thoughts, or maybe whatever she needs to work on. You can ask in the next card. But she is the one, she is herself stopping her in this situation. So she needs to look deep inside and figure out what's going on there. So you see, this card is so beautiful. Like I told you guys, the imagery is so powerful. I get the goosebumps because it's so talented, it's so creative. Like I love those cards. So they've done an amazing job doing them. So you see, it's simple. It's like you don't have to be an expert in order to read the cards. All you need to do is to relate, to have some empathy, to relate to the emotions, and look at the picture and see what the person in the picture is doing, how they're feeling, what are they going through, and you get your answer. And it's very simple if you get into the picture and actually look at at the stuff that is going on there. So let's ask another question and get another card. So let's do what's waiting for me in the future, right? And I'm gonna do another video about the future and about prediction readings and my opinion on it, because it's kind of here and there. So I'm gonna explain what I mean in a different video. I'm gonna link it below so you guys can follow if you want to. But let's do it anyway, because I don't do in general future readings except certain exceptions, right? And I'm gonna explain why in that video. So let's ask a question: what will happen to me in the future, right? And you can specify the time frame, or you don't have to specify. It's up to you. It's better to specify to be concrete, but if you don't, that's fine too. So it's kind of more general path that you will follow, right? Okay, so let's say I pulled 10 of Pentacles, and Pentacles usually means money, earthy possession, means, stuff that you get in your life, right? And this card is beautiful. So just look at this card and see what you see. So ask yourself that question in your head. So what is waiting for me in the future? And look at the card and see what's going on there. Okay, so what I see, and it's very clear here, it's a family, a husband, a wife, a kid, and kids playing in the background. Maybe their kids, maybe someone else's kids, right? Maybe just, friends stop by for this little girl, and they have this beautiful doggy, and they all happy. They play in frisbee with money, with pentacles here. And you can see they're all happy, they're all laughing, they're all smiling, they look very excited, they look very happy, and you see this beautiful circle of life. I'm not sure what it is, right? So for me it's a circle of life. I'm not sure what they meant this. And you see the lanterns, that for me lanterns, that it's a light, right? So the light is on the way, so they full of light. That's what I can interpret here. So they look very relaxed, they look very happy. So the card speaks for itself, right? So it's not a rocket science. You just look at the card, you describe what you see, what they're doing, and you will get your answer. It's that simple. There's nothing complicated about tarot, and it shouldn't be complicated. And that's why I told you guys at the beginning, it's better not to start learning the meaning first, because your conscious mind, your thinking mind gets really confused if it doesn't remember. But if you start looking at the story, if you start just looking at feelings and expressions and what they're doing in the card, it becomes so simple. It's like, from at the beginning for me, I'm like, this shouldn't be that simple. This shouldn't, it shouldn't be that easy, right? But it felt so easy, it felt so effortless, it felt so good to actually do it. And I've done readings and their moon readings, and people got really excited, and people like, oh, this is right, and this is amazing how you saw that. So I mean, it works, guys, it works. So if you're overthinking it, don't. Just go in the card, look at the card. So if you ask the question, what is waiting for me in the future, waits for me in the future, right? So a beautiful family, kids, right? So if you ask the time period, maybe it works in the time period. So maybe, a dog, a beautiful family where they spend time together, where, they enjoy each other, where they feel happy. So this is a beautiful card. That is that simple. The answer is that simple, and it's very positive, right? So don't overthink it. Just go in the card, see what's going on there, and if you need to put two cards together, just relate. Ask another question after it, and then relate to each other, and that's it. It's not hard, guys. It's simple. Okay, so let's do one more, and then I think you guys got it. So I've been talking way too much. I'm not sure how long is this video right now. If you watched that far, you're awesome. You're really excited about tarot, I'm pretty sure, because I've been just talking and talking. I feel like forever. you know, guys, I'm really excited and thank you for watching. And I'm gonna do another card. So I just wanted to let you know that, you know, if you feel like, you know, giving thumbs up and like, if you really like this video, it really helps the channel. So please do like it, subscribe if you want to subscribe. I do tarot readings. I also, I'm thinking about starting spiritual videos, you know, videos related to spirituality. And so yeah, probably we'll see like that. So please hit like, subscribe, and I'm really excited to see your comments and your whatever you experiences, right? So share it in the comments below. Let's do it together. Let's, you know, be excited together about tarot. So let's do one more card. So let's say I'm asking a question, what should I do about my project, right? So what should I do about my project? Where should I move forward? Probably it's not working at this time, right? So what should I do to continue? Should I continue the same way I thought I should, or maybe something in a different path, right? So let's pull the card, and let's say you pull this one, and this is a death card. And a lot of people get very scared of that card, but that card actually is, it's a good one. I'm not sure if I should say it. It doesn't mean, I mean, in rare cases, it means literal death of the person, but most of the cases, it depends on the reading, right? So if you, once you get more advanced in the tarot readings, you will see the difference. But now for, you know, general readings, right, this actually means, so let's say I'm asking the question, this actually means a positive thing. So most of the time death is ending of something. So something that was going on and it wasn't working, it wasn't going the way it's supposed to go, it shouldn't be going that way, right? So at some point, if something is not working, it should stop, because it's draining your energy, it's draining your time, it's taking so much resources from you, where you can move in different direction, right? So that's why when I say death is a positive card, in this way it's positive, because you're stopping something that wasn't working anymore, and you choosing different path, you choosing to move forward, or to reinvent yourself, to move to a different level, right? So that card, you can read it in so many positive ways. So this is what I mean. And that's why I like this deck, because it doesn't just say death and people get freaked out, right? Because it seems really scary. It says death and rebirth. So that's why it indicates that if something is dying out, if something is stopping, something else, something new, something exciting will start. Something new, the new life of the project, or a new beginning of a relationship, right? Or something else. So the ending is always a beginning, because you always replace the energy doesn't go anywhere, it just changes, it transforms, right? So the ending is always the beginning of something new and something exciting and something positive, if you look at it in that way. It's all about your perception, right? So let's take a look at this card and ask our question, right? So what should I do about my project? And we take a look. So you see some different colors, right? So you see a black color, but at the same time you see this, blue and greenish and reddish, and you see this hood. And for me it's a little bit freaky, because there's nothing inside, there's no face, it's just a forest. So it's a dark forest. But at the same time, you see in the middle, on top of the dark forest, there's a beautiful bright star that is shining so bright that it kind of pulls you in. So the star usually for me means a wish. So star, a wish, being a superstar, right? So something really positive, something really exciting to look forward to. And then this red hood, right? So it means something is ending, something, so inside this hood, I feel like in the person realm, right, something is ending, but at the same time there's a big hope, there's a big dream that you cannot remove, you can remove from the person. They will always be going toward it. So this card tells you that even if the project, you can stop the project at this time, but later you will still get to the point where you want to be, to your wish, to your dream, right? And maybe at this time you can think about, finishing the project or stopping the project, because if it's not working anymore, probably you need a different solution, or maybe you need a different project, because there are different ways you can achieve your project, right? You can achieve your dreams. Maybe this is not the right path for you. So in this situation, for me, what I would read right now, whatever is coming to me, whatever information I see on the card right now, is that yes, I see some black colors here. Maybe right now everything looks a bit dim, right? Everything looks a bit sad and a little bit dark, but there is you have a dream. You have a dream that you're going towards, and if something is ending, it doesn't mean that your dream is ending. It just means that there's another way you can get there. There's another path, and this rebirth tells you that you reinvent yourself and you just keep going forward and you will get there. So it's such a positive card. That's what I'm talking about. So you gotta look at different sides of the story, and you gotta tell the story. Sometimes, no, in this way, I feel like it's saying it in a positive way, because ending something doesn't mean that it ends. It means that just something else exciting is gonna start. So I think we're done with the cards for today, because it takes a long time for me to look at one card and explain everything that I'm thinking and seeing there. I think this video has already been way too long. But what I also wanted to add to this video is that there are different types of decks, and there are different types of cards, and there are shadow decks and there are light decks, right? So there are different types, and different decks can work with different issues differently. So this deck is very versatile, so it can, for me, it also depends on the person. So for me, it can work with different issues, relationship, money, or whatever it is. And some decks are, very straightforward, and they work with only one area or with two areas, right? So I also wanted to make a video on that topic, so I'm gonna be making it in the future. So I'll add it later once I make it. So please hit subscribe, like, if you really want to watch that video. I'm gonna be posting, hopefully, so whenever I get time to record it. And I hope you guys like the video, and I hope you like my explanation. It is very simple to read cards, and you should be overthinking it. All you need to do is ask the right question, and then tell a story and look at the card and live in it and see what's going on there, and tell a beautiful story. And you will be surprised when you read for other people, where they look at you and they're like, that's crazy, how did you see that? So I wish you guys those moments where you reach for your friends or family and they ask you a certain question, and then you read a card to them and they're like, whoa, that is amazing, that is pretty cool. So try it, guys. It comes with practice, it comes with, and if it doesn't work out for you the first time, the second it will, or third, or after 50 times, just be persistent and enjoy the process and have fun with it, because cards are really fun and are really exciting, because so many beautiful stories, so many beautiful pictures, and they all live different life, and that's why I'm so excited about tarot. I told you guys probably so many times. So I really enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed it too. Hit like, subscribe, or whatever it is, and I see you guys in the next videos.